Hello, Oracles. Oracle Tim here from Oracle Investments. Today I'm going to go over Tesla's Q4 earnings preview. And before we get started, I apologize for any background noise. There is a nasty windstorm rolling through here right now, so if you hear that, I apologize. But today we're going to go over the Q4 earnings preview. These are numbers that I ran through to see where I think Tesla is going to end up for Q4 earnings. So we'll start with vehicles delivered. That's where we need to start. So Tesla had announced that they delivered 308,600 vehicles for Q4. So now we're going to break that down, and I have them at an average vehicle price of $51,903. The way I broke it down was pretty basic. They delivered 11,750 S and X models. I took a rough average price of about $100,000 per vehicle there, which put that at $1.175 billion in revenue from S and X for Q4. I then took the Model 3 and Y, which had 296,850 deliveries for Q4, and split it up with between the US, China, Europe, and all the different locations that they delivered to, average price of about $50,000 per vehicle for all of those, which put that at about $14.842 billion in revenue from the 3 and the Y. So total automotive revenue came in at just over $16 billion. And now I'm really curious about energy. In Q3, they did $800 million for energy. I put them at $875 million. Elon has stated that a lot of people are underestimating energy. So I don't know if that underestimation is him just letting us know that, hey, we're going to be a lot higher in Q4, or going forward in the future, it will be a lot higher. I figured 875 million was a safe ballpark number. Of course, we'll find out for sure on Q4 earnings. And so for total overall revenue, I have them at $18.2 billion. And now for their automotive gross margins, because they had more S and X models coming out, not a lot, it was only 5% of what they had delivered, but it was enough to offset it, plus all of their price increases going up. And I don't think that the factory ramps of Berlin and Austin have really hit costs very much yet. So I've got their automotive gross margins at 34%. And now this also put their GAAP margins above 30%. And I think these two numbers here are big ones that Wall Street's going to be looking at. And when the numbers come in, if they're over 30% margins for GAAP and 34 to 35% margins for automotive gross margins, I think we're going to see quite a bit of excitement coming around Tesla for Q4 earnings. And so I've got their gross profits at around $5.6 billion. Now, an important thing to note as well is they officially moved their headquarters to Austin at the end of Q3. So Q4 should be taxed based in Texas. Let me know for sure in the comments if I may be wrong on that, but based upon what I had seen, it looks like, they officially moved in end of Q3, right after Q3, so Q4 should be taxed based out of Texas. And so for an EPS, earnings per share, I have them at $2.56 per share. And I still left it at the number of outstanding shares that they had from Q3 at 1.123 billion shares outstanding. That may go up or fluctuate a little bit for Q4. We'll know for sure how many shares they used for their calculations come Q4 earnings. And Wall Street average estimates are coming in around $2.24 earnings per share for Q4. So I'm a little bit above that. There are some that are much higher than that. These are my numbers. Obviously, we'll see for sure when Q4 earnings roll around. But obviously, you can see the trend that we are going, and this is the beginning of the exponential growth that we have been talking about for Tesla. And this exponential growth is just going to continue quarter after quarter after quarter. I did break down my 2022 predictions quarter by quarter. I still have some finalizing to do with those numbers, so I'll get those put together for you guys next weekend. But just a little tidbit of information, I have them at over 30% margins for the next 2 quarters, and it's looking good. So the whole year is looking very good for production, for deliveries, based upon my calculations. So I'll share that with you guys next weekend. But for Q4 for 2021, looking pretty solid. I think we're going to do very well. I think we're going to get same thing. A lot of analysts coming up to earnings are going to be increasing their price targets. After earnings, they will be also increasing their price targets. We will get a lot of delivery targets changed, a lot of production targets increased as well. A lot of them are still around the 1.3 to 1.4 million vehicle delivery and production. Still think that's very low. For me, I have, after my adjustments and calculations because of the delays in Berlin, Austin coming online soon, I'm still around 1.81 million for the year. Down a little bit from my 1.85, but it's negligible, not really noticeable. So again, that's where I see it as 1.8. And I have a feeling that over the course of the year, we're going to see a lot of analysts increasing this and getting closer to that 1.6 to 1.8 million mark. But truly, I think the margins are really where Wall Street's just going to have their minds blown, because Tesla's been increasing quarter after quarter their margins like crazy. And if we can come in at 33, 34, 35%, you're going to see a lot of positive chatter coming out of there, and then we'll see some major moves after that. Let me know in the comments below, what are your estimates for Q4 earnings for 2021? Thank you all so much for watching. I appreciate all of your support and feedback. If you have not subscribed, please do so down below. Sign yourself up for notifications. I am over on Twitter at OracleTim1. I share all of the latest Tesla information as well as pertinent stock market news with you there. I will also put all of my trades that I make on a daily basis there as well. Thank you all so much. Have a great one.